This is the WKBN High School Football Game of the Week pregame show, sponsored by B&R Wholesale Tire and Pebblestone Flooring.
No one takes a break tonight. We get after them for 4 quarters. You take what you want. It's your time.
Game on day, game on day, game on day, game on day. We can't be beat. We won't be beat. Won't be beat.
Go get it done, baby. Come on.
At long last, the 2019 high school football season has arrived. Tonight, a pair of Pennsylvania powers will collide as Farrell pays a visit to Wilmington in the WKBN High School Football Game of the Week. Hi again, everybody. Chad Krispinski alongside Ryan Allison. What a way to kick off our broadcast schedule.
You aren't kidding. Steelers and Greyhounds, not only 2 of the top teams in District 10, but also 2 of the top teams in the entire state. And both have already had 1 game under their belt. Both started the season last Friday night.
Let's take a look at tonight's matchup notes. These 2 teams meeting for the 13th time in the all-time series this evening.
Yeah, and it couldn't be much more even. The series currently tied 6-6 heading into tonight's action. The last meeting almost a year ago to the day. Farrell coming away with a 31-19 victory in Week 2 of 2018.
Let's now take a closer look at Farrell. The Steelers entering Week 2 in unfamiliar territory, having dropped the opener 14-12 to University Prep last Friday. It was their first loss since the 2017 postseason. Following that loss, the Steelers are 0-1, but that setback has not done much to hurt their reputation in the latest state rankings that were released on Monday.
Yeah, that's right. The Steelers find themselves at number 2 entering this week's action. Coach Pregame and company looking to avoid their first 0-2 start since 2008. But even that year, Farrell advanced all the way to the Western Final.
Farrell currently riding a 6-game win streak on the road. Farrell graduated one of the most impressive classes that we can remember, but the guys that are back are game changers.
Case in point with lineman Melvin Hobson, who is a prime contender to be one of our 5 blocks of granite. He's 6'3", weighs 300 pounds. He says his best attribute is his technique, which allows him to beat guys off the line and make plays.
He already has an offer from Navy and is likewise garnering interest from schools like YSU, Duquesne, Robert Morris, Lehigh, and Columbia. And he also has the attention of the Greyhounds, along with his fellow lineman, Gary Satterwhite III.
Well, they're again, that physicality piece. I mean, they don't just want to get on you and shield you away from the running back. They want to get on you, drive you 3 yards, and then dump you into the turf. They're just a physical football team. Both those names you mentioned, Hobson and Satterwhite, extremely physical, extremely fast, and explosive off the football. And that's what jumps out at me first and foremost when you talk about those 2 players, just the physicality and the intensity they bring to the football field.
He's a great player, but we got some big boys on the line this year. I think if they get heavy on the line, then I think we can have a great game up front.
When we come back, we'll turn our attention to Wilmington, the defending state runners-up, looking to make a statement in game number 2. Our pregame coverage continues after this of the WKBN High School Football Game of the Week.
You're watching the WKBN High School Football Game of the Week pregame show.
And welcome back as the countdown to kickoff continues. Let's now turn our attention to Wilmington, a team that is always in the mix to win it all.
Yeah, the Greyhounds have adopted the team motto, each of us needs all of us, which emphasizes the importance of playing as a team, and it was mission accomplished last week.
It sure was. Wilmington roared out of the gates to start the season. The Greyhounds nearly gained 300 rushing yards as a team in a 26-14 win over Sharon.
2 players went over 100 yards rushing in that win. Ethan Susan piled up 125 on the ground, while Darren Miller finished with 126 rushing yards.
The Greyhounds enter Week 2 at 1-0. That's good enough to place them at number 8 in Class 2A in the latest state rankings.
The Greyhounds have been as good as any team in PA, having won 19 of their last 20 regular season games overall. Plus, they've been really good at home, currently riding an 11-game home winning streak.
Now, despite making it all the way to the state championship game last season, the Greyhounds have remained as motivated as ever as a team, and that showed last Friday night.
Junior Ethan Susan was one of the major contributors in that win over Sharon. His head coach Brandon Fillion tells us Susan is very talented on the field on both sides of the ball, but he's also a tremendous leader, working to mentor many of the young players on the team.
And he says he models his game after Todd Gurley of the Los Angeles Rams, bringing elusiveness and speed every time he touches the ball.
Well, he's a tough player. He's a tough kid. He's a good back, and he just goes out there, like I said, works with his team. They work as a unit, and they're all a machine. I don't think you can pin it all on one guy, but he's a great player to do so, yeah.
Discipline. They're coached very well. Those kids run that system to the T. Like I said, the coaching staff is great. Fans is great. You know what I mean? They rally around that team, and they come out and support that team very well, and those kids play for those schools.
Which brings us to our keys to the game. Farrell must protect the rock. The Steelers turned the ball over 3 times last week. That can't happen against Wilmington.
Secondly, Wilmington must play physical, especially up front. The Greyhounds have the reputation for coming right at teams and setting the tone in the trenches. And finally, make a statement. In a battle of 2 state powers, the winner of this will certainly do that.
And they'll do so on high school football's biggest stage.
At the end of the day, when you're chosen to be the game of the week, I think that's an absolute honor. And I think for the kids, you know, when they look and realize, hey, we are the game of the week, you know, the production trucks are coming, we're going to be televised, that just adds to it. You know, and at the end of the day, we certainly want to work hard. Hey, everybody wants to win, but high school football is about the experience. It's about the process, not the end result. And getting to experience something like being game of the week, that just adds to that process and that experience for these high school students.
That's like one of the things that you try to strive for around here, because if you get the game of the week, that means your program is doing really well. And there's 2 big powerhouse programs in Western PA, and we're just elated to have game of the week.
So the spotlight is shining brightly on high school football's biggest stage. We're just about ready for kickoff. Farrell and Wilmington face off next at the WKBN High School Football Game of the Week.